bus driver slips note in student's bag, forced to resign next day. She was convinced nobody would find out it was her. She even typed it on the computer so her handwriting couldn't be identified. Everything seemed to go as planned, but before she could say anything, the principal said, "We know about the letter you gave Nathan." It was the moment when her life was about to be changed entirely. Nathan Cook was a 12-year-old boy who was curious about this world and the people surrounding him. He loved adventures and everything new, but talking to people was his biggest passion. He was an amiable kid. Nathan's mom, Dee, had always taught him not to trust people so quickly, but to no avail. It looked like the boy was born to trust everyone he met naturally. So the mom was watching him for a while now. The woman always paid attention to what he would say and how he would act. She had no choice but to stare and wonder at how he behaved when getting on the school bus every morning. Nathan boarded the bus with his own students from his neighborhood and came back from school the same way. Martha, the school bus driver, had been working there for almost 2 years. She loved her job and loved spending time with kids. Nathan immediately hit it off with her. But little did the boy know that that day would be the last day he shared a bus ride with her. The journey seemed to be as usual. At his stop, the boy stood up and departed just like normal. But at that moment, something had happened the boy wasn't aware of. While he was getting out of the bus, Martha secretly put a little letter inside his bag. It was the first time she did something like this. The woman tried to do it silently and hoped nobody would notice. To be honest, Nathan was her favorite kid, yet she felt she had to do it. The boy went home, and before realizing what happened, his mother found the note. When she asked him where he got it, Nathan's jaw dropped. He had absolutely no idea how this note occurred in his backpack. As she continued reading, her heart began beating fast like a stereo. "Who gave you this, Nathan?" she demanded. "I don't know, Mom," he replied. "What is it?" When the woman started asking her son where he could leave his bag during the day, it quickly became clear to her this must have been written by his bus driver. She asked Nathan who was driving the bus today, and when he said it was Martha, there was no doubt left in Dee's mind. She had to do something about this. Dee reread the note and couldn't hold the tears this time. Why would Martha write something like this about her son? The woman immediately called the school. The next day, Martha woke to some missed calls. Even though she didn't work today, the school had asked her to come in. She started wondering what urgent situation could happen. She had to go to school on her day off. Confused, Martha headed off to the head office where the principal, some other board members, and Dee were waiting on her. She felt sick to her stomach. How did they find out it was her? She acted so carefully. She even typed it out on the computer so nobody could identify her handwriting. The school principal informed Martha they knew it was her who slipped the note inside Nathan's backpack. Then he gave the voice to Dee, who tried to sound gentle. Since it was only the third time they met, Dee felt it would be correct to introduce herself again. "I took the liberty to organize this today, Martha. I received your letter. Before you say anything, I know it was from you. And I want to be here to see the look on your face when you hear what happens next," Dee said. Then the school principal involved himself again and said that Martha would no longer drive buses, as she had been promoted to manager of overlooking all transport within the school. You see, in her letter to Nathan's mom, Martha wrote the words of admiration and applause for bringing up Nathan such a kind boy. In fact, he looked after and made friends with an autistic boy on the bus who found the journey difficult. She wrote that she kept an eye on Nathan and saw he was gentle, warm-hearted, friendly, and patient with him, while the other kids ignored him and made fun of him. The woman then mentioned her own struggles as she was younger and how she would have loved to have parents like him or a friend like Nathan. When Dee read those words, the tears started falling down her face. Being a mother is the most devoting and complicated job in the world, and when it's appreciated and noticed, you just can't hold your emotions in gratitude. Dee immediately wanted to know who was the author of such an overwhelming letter. When she found out it was the bus driver, the woman wanted to make sure the school knew of her good deed. However, when she called the school principal, he had a plan of their own. The thing is, the school mentioned it wasn't the first time they received a call like this about Martha's kindness. In fact, they had received a lot of fantastic reviews and already planned to promote her. What a perfect example of how the combination of good work and kind heart will always get mentioned and rewarded.